Okay, grade 12s. In this lesson, we're going to go over trigonometric equations, and we're going to be looking at the general solutions of trigonometric equations, the rules, and link it to compounded double angles. Now, let's go back to grade 11. I'm going to revise the three main rules of trigonometric equations. Sine theta is equal to A. How do you solve that equation? Remember, there's a restriction on A as well. If you remember from grade 11, that A it's got to be between -1. It's really because if you take the trigonometric graph, the trig graph of sine, if you remember, is always restricted from -1 to 1, and you can't go beyond. So you can't have, for example, if this was equal to 2, there's no solution because 2 is outside. It would only have a solution if, for example, that was, say, a half, because that's in there, or even 1 is fine, but we can't do that. But so for any number that you select, A, you have that restriction. Okay, now, if you have a look at the first option, if you remember, was theta. If you use shift sign on your calculator, you go shift sign, remember you get to that button and you put in the number, and don't forget to add K360 where K is an integer, if you remember that. That was the one option. The other option, and we're going to keep these up, is 180 minus shift sign of A plus K360. So there were two ones. You simply go on your calculator, you go shift and the sign, and you push the sign button, which gets you to that, and then you put your little number in, whatever that is, and there you go. Okay, so the stuff we sort of did in grade 11, you can see it on the note, the lessons that we do for cell school, you can see that as well. But the important thing here is to make sure that you know those things. Then there's the other rules with cos. If cos theta is equal to A, again, the cos graph is restricted there. The theta is actually two possible answers, but it's plus minus shift cos of A plus K360. So that's quite important there. These two rules here, this one here, that guy and that guy, and then this one for cos. There's two of them, plus and minus. For tan is actually quite easy. If you remember from last year, the tan of theta, we just apply these rules directly. And of course, A can be anything, because remember, the tan graph simply goes like that. It goes completely up. So there's absolutely no stress with it. The tan graph can equal anything you want it to. Okay, which is rather nice. Okay, and the solution here is theta is shift tan of that number, positive or negative, doesn't matter, but we add K180 to that, and that's where K is an element of Z as well. Okay, for all of these, K would be an element of Z. So I think it's time to practice a grade 11 example quickly, and I'm going to do one and then I'm going to refer back to those, so don't panic with it, it's quite cool. Okay, take this one for example. So I said to you solve for x, and I gave you negative a half the cos of 2x minus 10 degrees, and let that equal the decimal minus 0.321. And I'm going to place a restriction on you. I'm going to say x is going to be from minus 45 all the way up to 155 degrees. Okay, and you've got to solve for x. Well, the first thing I would suggest you do is we get a general solution. So let's write the equation down. Okay, and what I'm going to then do is I'm going to multiply both sides by -2. So in other words, like, if you times this by -2 here and that by -2, well, those the half and the 2's and the negatives cancel, and you're down to your typical grade 11 trigonometric equation. Multiply that by -2, you get 0.642, which is great. So we can now generate our little general solution to this. And how it works with cos, if you have a look at cos, if we go back, let's have a look at cos. Here it is. Cos theta is you'd say cos of the angle is plus minus shift cos of whatever that number is plus K360. So let's do that. So we're going to say the angle, remember that's this whole thing is the theta. So you say 2x minus 10 degrees is shift cos of the decimal, the number there, and we must add K360. But never forget to tell the examiner K is an element of Z. So let's work out that 2x minus 10. They normally also tell you to how many decimal places to round it off. So if you look at that, it comes to, if we round off, they probably could have said to you round off to the nearest degree or something like that, and let's do that. So this comes to, if you check it in the calculator, it's going to come to, and don't forget your little plus minus here. That's very important with cos, to have the plus minus as well. So this equals plus minus that. Okay, so it's plus minus 50 degrees. Just go shift cos of that 0.642, you get that, and you then get plus k 360. So if you remember, basically we have two options. So the one would be 2x minus 10 is equal to 50, positive 50, plus k 360. And then if you bring that negative 10 across, it goes to 60 plus k 360 there. And then divide everybody by 2, and there's your first general solution there. Okay. Then, of course, we could also go 2x minus 10 degrees is equal to negative 50 plus k 360. Pretty much good stuff here. And then you can say 2x is equal to, well, negative 50 plus 10 is negative 40 plus k 360. And then we just simply divide, and we're left with k 180. There are two general solutions given to us. So remember, with cos, don't forget this. It's important to always put the plus minus there with the cos. Okay, good. Okay, and then they've given us a restriction as well, which said we've got our general solutions. The restriction said from minus 45 to 155. Okay, so we've got x is going to be from minus 45 to 155. Now all you have to then do is I draw a little table. So I put my little general solutions there. In fact, we can put some values for k here, which will be easier, and maybe we can choose negative 1, 0, and 1. If you remember, let's put our little general solutions there. 30 degrees plus k 180, and the other one was x is equal to was negative 20 plus k 180. And now the trick is to work out your corresponding, or the values, or the actual angles given, the values of k. These are the values for k, because k are integers. Well, if it's naught, the answers here would be 30 and negative 20. If that's negative 130 plus negative 1 times 180 would be 30 minus 180, which is negative 150. This one would be minus 20 minus 180, which is minus 200. If you plug that in there, and if this is 130 plus 180, it gives you 210. There, let's tidy it up a little bit there, 210. And then we've got negative 20 plus 1 comes to 160. Okay, now you can go to negative 2 and 2, but notice that it's very restricted this. So the angles here that lie in this interval would definitely not be these guys. It would be 30 would be in, negative 20 would be in, and these are going out as well. That's too big. So your solutions would be negative 20, and the other solution would be x is equal to 30 degrees. These are your answers to that thing. So this is a bit of revision of general solution, and make sure that you master the rules of general solution. Remember, with cos it was plus minus, sine is just shift sine and 180 minus, and tan is just shift tan plus k 180. And then when you get equations like this, simply get them to the form cos angle is number, apply the shift cos thing, don't forget plus minus, get your two general solutions, and then draw up a little table where you pick values for k, integer values, and you can then work out your actual degrees.